Summer has a way of making you feel like you should be somewhere else. Windows down, playlist loud, nothing but open road ahead. But most of us spend it scrolling instead of going. If you've been waiting for a sign to finally take that road trip, this is it. Here are 10 summer road trips across the USA absolutely worth your time, your tank of gas, and your out-of-office reply. Number 10, Grand Strand Drive. 60 miles of Atlantic coastline, and you haven't even left South Carolina yet. Myrtle Beach sits at the heart of what locals call the Grand Strand, a stretch of sandy beaches that draws millions every summer, and it's not hard to see why. The boardwalk delivers immediately. Family Kingdom Amusement Park sits right on the beach. Ripley's Aquarium covers everything from tropical fish to endangered sharks. And Broadway at the beach pulls together shopping, dining, and live entertainment in one spot. Full transparency though, Myrtle Beach gets crowded in summer. If you want the beach without the shoulder-to-shoulder situation, aim for early mornings or late August when families start heading home. That small adjustment makes a real difference. As an entry point for an East Coast summer road trip, the Grand Strand is hard to beat. Number 9, Chesapeake Coast Run. Not every great road trip needs to announce itself. Virginia Beach earns its spot quietly, and that's exactly the appeal. Start at First Landing State Park, named after the 1607 arrival of English settlers and one of the most visited state parks in Virginia. Ancient cypress trees, lagoons, and trails that feel completely removed from the busy coastline minutes away. The contrast is immediate and genuinely surprising. One moment you're in dense forest, the next you're back on the water. Head toward Beach Street, USA, and the energy shifts. Skateboarders, street performers, fresh seafood right on the water. Chesapeake Bay Beach on the calmer side gives you a quieter alternative if the boardwalk energy isn't your speed. Either way, you're eating well. Keep driving south and you're at the edge of the Outer Banks, one of the most dramatic coastlines on the entire East Coast. Virginia Beach isn't just a beach stop, it's a proper road trip gateway. Number 8, Badlands and Black Hills. South Dakota doesn't ask for your attention, it just earns it. Start in Rapid City, about 23 miles from Mount Rushmore, and use it as your base without the tourist markup of being right at the monument. Mount Rushmore is exactly what you expect and still somehow more impressive in person. Crazy Horse Memorial nearby has been under construction since 1948. The scale of it is genuinely staggering. Drive east toward Badlands National Park and the landscape shifts completely. Otherworldly rock spires, eroded canyons, and bison roaming Custer State Park like they own the place. Because historically they did. Here's a question for the comments. Would you rather spend a full day at Mount Rushmore or lose yourself in the Badlands? Drop your answer below. Number 7, Great Lakes Loop. There's a version of a coastal road trip that has nothing to do with saltwater, and it might be the most underrated drive in the country. Michigan's two peninsulas connect through the Mackinac Bridge, a 5-mile span crossing the Straits of Mackinac. Start at Mackinac City, ferry out to car-free Mackinac Island, and try the fudge made fresh on the island. It's the kind of thing people plan return trips around. Cross into the Upper Peninsula, and Lake Superior reveals itself along the North Shore. Push through to Duluth, Minnesota, where the Great Lakes Aquarium sits on the waterfront. From there, the North Shore Scenic Drive covers 150 miles through 8 Minnesota state parks, with Gooseberry Falls, coastal cliffs, cascading waterfalls worth the trip alone. People who grew up near the Great Lakes already know this. Everyone else is about to find out. Number 6, Upstate New York. Most people hear New York and picture the city. That's exactly why this road trip works. Start in Albany and head north on Interstate 87. Saratoga Springs is your first real stop. Summer horse racing draws crowds, but even without that, downtown Broadway delivers good restaurants, boutique shopping, and easy afternoon energy that makes it worth a night's stay. Further north, Lake George comes into view. The Queen of American Lakes, 32 miles long, 200 feet deep in spots, with 395 islands and lakeside resorts surrounding it. Spend a day on the water, and you'll understand why people keep coming back every summer without needing much convincing. From Lake George, the Adirondacks open up. Over 3,000 lakes, mountains, rivers, and forests across one of the largest protected natural areas in the country. Lake Placid sits inside that region, host to the Winter Olympics in both 1932 and 1980. The Olympic Museum still holds the uniforms, medals, and artifacts from both games. This road trip rewards everyone who didn't follow the crowd. Number 5, Great River Road. Some road trips are about scenery. This one is about soul. The Great River Road road follows the Mississippi through 10 states, from Minnesota down to the Gulf of Mexico and Louisiana. You don't have to drive all of it to feel what it offers. Pick a stretch, commit to it, and let the river do the rest. The culture here is layered into every mile. Blues music history in Mississippi, civil rights landmarks that still carry enormous weight, barbecue joints with lines out the door at noon on a Tuesday. St. Louis gives you the Gateway Arch, 630 feet of curved steel rising above the river. Memphis pulls you in with Beale Street. Natchez delivers some of the most intact antebellum architecture in the South. This is slow travel at its most rewarding. If you're ready to start planning, I've linked the best current flight and hotel deals in the description below to help you book for less. Number 4, Oregon Coast Highway. California gets all the coastal road trip glory. Oregon doesn't mind, and that's part of what makes it so good. Highway 101 runs from Astoria south to Brookings, and the whole stretch feels rawer and less polished than anything California offers. Rugged cliffs, windswept beaches, rainforest pushing right to the shoreline, fishing towns that haven't been packaged for tourism yet. Astoria is where The Goonies was filmed, and the Oregon Film Museum runs a dedicated exhibit inside the actual building that appeared in the movie. 25 miles south, Cannon Beach puts Haystack Rock, 235 feet of basalt rising straight from the surf, right in front of you. Newport's Oregon Coast Aquarium is particularly known for its otter exhibit. Then Tillamook arrives, and if you've ever bought Tillamook cheese without knowing where it came from, now you know. The factory tour with samples is exactly as good as it sounds. Number 3, Blue Ridge Parkway. More people drive the Blue Ridge Parkway every year than visit the Grand Canyon, and somehow it still feels like a secret. The parkway covers 469 miles through the Appalachians, connecting Shenandoah National Park in Virginia to Great Smoky Mountains National Park in North Carolina. No commercial trucks, no stoplights, no billboards, just mountain ridgelines and overlooks that make you pull over, whether you plan to or not. Shenandoah anchors the north with nearly 75 overlooks along Skyline Drive. Crabtree Falls drops 70 feet, one of the tallest waterfalls east of the Mississippi. Linville Falls cascades into a gorge locals call the Grand Canyon of the East. Asheville sits near the southern end. The Biltmore Estate, 165 rooms, built by the Vanderbilt family in 1895, can absorb an entire day. Push 2.5 hours further west, and you hit Pigeon Forge. Dollywood is there. Just go. Number 2, Route 66. Every road trip on this list owes something to this one. Route 66 runs 2,400 miles from Chicago to Santa Monica through 8 states. It opened in 1926 and essentially invented the American road trip as a concept. Everything that came after it exists in its shadow. The roadside attractions alone justify the drive. The world's largest covered wagon in Lincoln, Illinois. The world's largest rocking chair in Fanning, Missouri. Catoosa's Blue Whale in Oklahoma. And Cadillac Ranch in Texas, where 10 Cadillacs have been buried nose first in the ground since 1974. The Gateway Arch in St. Louis rises 630 feet above the Mississippi. The Petrified Forest in Arizona covers 200,000 acres of ancient fossilized wood. And then there's the Grand Canyon, and 277 miles long, up to 18 miles wide, over a mile deep. No photograph has ever done it justice. None ever will. Route 66 doesn't just take you somewhere, it takes you back to why road trips matter. Number 1, Pacific Coast Highway. Some drives you remember, this one you carry with you. Highway 1 runs 656 miles along the California coast, from Southern California's beaches up through the cliff-hugging curves of the north. It shows up in more films and TV shows than any other road in the country and still exceeds every expectation. Big Sur is where it earns everything. The Bixby Creek Bridge, built in 1932, stands 260 feet above the creek and spans 714 feet of open air, one of the most photographed structures in California. Monterey and Carmel by the Sea follow with Cannery Row, the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and a beach town pace that feels genuinely unhurried. Near San Simeon, Hearst Castle sits on 127 acres with 165 rooms built by newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst. Just down the road, hundreds of elephant seals lounge at the Piedras Blancas rookery like they have absolutely nowhere to be. By this point in the drive, you might feel the same way. The road has always been there. It's not going anywhere, and neither is the version of yourself that's been meaning to take this trip. Summer doesn't wait, and neither should you. If you enjoyed this video, you'll love this next one.